Good day, everyone! Before I formally start my report, I just want to shout out all the Filipinos out there celebrating our 123rd Independence Day this June 12, 2021. And we should be thankful of all our heroes that sacrificed themselves para lang makuha ang ating kalayaan. And without further ado, let me introduce to you our report. Our report entitled Rizal and the Philippine Nationalism, National Symbols. And we are the presenter. I am the presenter Villegas Arvin J from Cebu Technological University and with my partner.
Hello everyone, I am Rizal Simako.
And we are taking Bachelor of Technology in Livelihood Education, major in Home Economics, first year Section A Day program. Here is the objectives of our report. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to 1. Examine the values and highlight by the various representation of Jose Rizal as a national symbol, and number 2, advocate the values of Rizal life encapsulates. Let me call on with my partner to present the next slide.
Symbols express thoughts that are represented by things. Those things are conventionally associated with meanings that made them called to be as symbols. So there are two types of symbols. It could be officially or traditionally. So first, what is national symbols? So when we say national symbols, it represents and distinguishes a certain country from other country. It is also somehow unites its people and provokes some sense of nationalism. Dr. Jose Rizal is the country's well-known national hero but belongs to an official national symbol category. However, this does not make him less of a symbol of the Philippines. Rizal's name illustrates the name of our country internationally. The monuments built by people in countries where he had been and his books in the foreign libraries bear the name of the Philippines. Values highlighted by Rizal's life. So these are the following values of Rizal as a national symbol. So first is nationalism. Nationalism desires to attain freedom and political independence, especially by a country under foreign power. Jose Rizal's life, works, and writings rejects this value. So second is patriotism. So patriotism denotes proud devotion and loyalty to one's nation. Third, faith in God. So when Rizal was studying in Madrid, Spain, Rizal through his letters, he assured his mother of his faith in God. Fourth, love of fellow men. Rizal's thought on love for our fellow men is biblical and timeless. Fifth, love of parents. Rizal's love for his parents is great and very admirable. Sixth, devotion to truth. Rizal's persevering search for truth in serving his country was motivating virtue. Sixth, purity and idealism. Rizal was guided by his ideals and he was extraordinary in purity of his thoughts. 8. Noble thought and conduct. Rizal's work and writing promoted good conduct, clean conscience, and upright thinking. 9. Is charity. All his sacrifices for his country were charitable acts for his fellow men. 10. Dedication to duty. Dedication was one of the Rizal's virtues. He dedicated his whole life in securing freedom for his country. 11. Moral courage. The moral courage that Rizal had signified is worth imitating by present leaders. 12. Willpower. This strong determination of Rizal allowed him to express his ideas and wills through calmness and peace. 13. Integrity. This refers to the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles. 14. Sincerity. Rizal's sincerity is manifested in his acceptance that whatever he possessed, he owed them to God, who had planned a duty he had to carry out. 15 is self-denial. Self-denial of Rizal involved self-sacrifices and altruism. 16 is perseverance. This value let him show his strength in meeting and enduring pain, adversity, and peril. 17 is discipline and self-control. Rizal used to determine his actions regardless of his desires. In fact, he deprived himself of any unsound pleasures. So, number 18, initiative. It is the ability to assess and initiate things independently. 19 is prudence. This is care, caution, and good judgment, as well as wisdom in looking ahead. 20. Chivalry, courtesy, and politeness. Rizal was an ideal gentleman, one of the qualities of being a chivalry. In addition, he was always ready to help weak or women. 21 is frugality. He also showed the quality of being economical with money and any other resources. In simple way, thriftiness. 22. Love for justice. Rizal found his joy in being just in fighting for justice.
Okay, so in this slide, I'm going to present the criteria for national heroes. Executive Order Number 75, 1993, on March 28, 1993, our former President Fidel V. Ramos issued an Executive Order Number 75 creating the National Heroes Committee under the Office of the President to study and to recommend the proclamation of the national heroes. After of the thorough discussion, the Commission came up with the new criteria comprising 10 points or standards. First, the extent of a person's sacrifice for welfare of the country. Second, the motive and methods employed in attainment of the ideal. And number 3, the moral character of the persons concerned. Of course, the person should not have any immorality issue that may affect his ideal. Fourth, the influence of the persons concerned in his age, generation, or any succeeding one. 5. Heroes are those who have a concept of the nation and thereafter inspire and struggle for the nation's freedom. Of course, they must desire the country's freedom in any situation, especially when there's a threat of invasion in any form. 6. Heroes are those who define and contribute to the system of life of freedom in order for the nation. For instance, someone who helps in the orderliness and betterment of the country. 7. Heroes are those who contribute to the quality of life and destiny of our nation. Number 8, or the 8th one. A hero is part of the people's expression. Therefore, a citizen must have recognized and acknowledged the person as a hero. 9. A hero thinks of the future, especially the future generations. The hero's concerns for the future generation must be seen in his decision and ideals. The last one, the 10th one, the choice of the hero involves not only recounting of an episode or event in history, but also the entire process that made his particular person called a hero. So that's it. That's the 10 standards in order for a person called to be a hero here in the Philippines. And according to the National Commission for Culture and Arts, or NCCA, official national symbol of the Philippines represent the country's tradition and ideals and conveys the principles of Philippine sovereignty and national solidarity. The first one, of course, this is the really important part of this report. We should know about this. So the first one is the national flag. The Philippine national flag. This is our Philippine national flag, as you can recognize this one because we are all Filipinos, so we must know about this. So the Philippine flag, the Philippine national flag, as defined by the National Historical Commission of the Philippines, is made up of silk and had a wide equilateral triangle of the left containing sunburst of 8 rays at the center. So this one, triangle, and you can see the sun, and a 5-pointed star each angle of the triangle. So this one, there's a star in here, star there, and star in here. So an upper stripe of the blue and the lower is red. So this one, you can see the blue is on the top and red at the bottom. The sun stands for liberty. Here, this represents for liberty. The sun bursts of 8 rays for the first 8 provinces that take up arms against Spain. So this one. And the 3 stars of the flag represents the island groups of the Philippines, which is Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. The white triangle, or the triangle, signifies the Filipinos' hope for equity. This one, the white part, represents this. And the upper blue, this one, the upper blue stripe stands for peace, truth, and justice. And lastly, while red stripe stands for patriotism and valor. So you can see the slide there. That is our national flag of the Philippines. So we should be proud of it, and we should not. Next, of course, the national anthem entitled Lupang Hinirang. The Philippine national anthem is entitled Lupang Hinirang and composed by Julian Felipe. Lupang Hinirang was first played publicly on June 12, 1898 during the proclamation of the Philippine Independence Day. Its lyrics were adopted from the Spanish poem titled Filipinas, which was written by Jose Palma. Next one, our national flower called Sampaguita. The Philippine national flower is called Sampaguita, which is generally known as Arabian jasmine. Its white colors symbolize purity, simplicity, humility, and strength. Next is the national tree. The Philippine national tree called Nara, generally known as rosewood. It was made official by the Governor General Frank Murphy through Proclamation number 652 series of 1934. In fact, under the DENR Memorandum Order dated February 5, 2013, cutting of Nara needs to be approved by the DENR Central Office, particularly by the Office of the Undersecretary for Fields and Operations. Next is the national bird of the Philippines. The Philippine national bird is called the Philippine eagle, scientifically known as the Pithecia jeffrey. It was made official in 1978 by former President Ferdinand Marcos through the proclamation of number 1732. The Philippine eagle, or also known as the monkey-eating eagle, stands for 3 feet or 1 meter tall, and it has a large, sharp curved beak. It has a feathers that seems to bristle in his head. It has a giant forest raptor, and it's considered excellent hunters. So this eagle is really amazing, and this eagle is only found here in the Philippines. So that is the Philippine eagle. Next, the national gem of the Philippines. The national gem is called the Philippine Pearl, as declared by the former President Fidel V. Ramos through Proclamation number 905 series of 1996. It is scientifically known as Pintada maxima. In fact, the world's largest pearl was discovered by a Filipino diver in a giant tridacna or mollusk under the Palawan Sea in 1934. Next up, the national sports. The national sports of the Philippines called Arnis, like Japan's karate and Korea's taekwondo, it's both a martial arts and sports whose origin are still largely unconfirmed because of the lack of documentation. It's known for 2 other names, Kali and Eskrima, and makes use of the both bladed weapons, batons, sticks, and bare hands. It became a national symbol in 2009 when the former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo signed the Republic Act 9850 into. The next part is the Bahay Kubo, or the National House of the Philippines. This will be reported by my partner.
So next is the National House, which is Bahay Kubo. The humble Bahay Kubo or Nipa hut is still seen in some parts of the country, especially in the provinces. While it has long been a symbol of Filipino homes, it has not been recognized as a national symbol. Next is national fish, which is bangus. The bangus or milkfish has long been seen as the country's national fish, yet without a law, its status will never be official. Next is national dish, which is lechon or roasted pig. The lechon is very popular and famous food among Filipinos. Lechon is roasted whole pig cooked over burning charcoals. It is a dish that is almost a fixed part and menu centerpiece of any Filipino celebrations, which is usually preferred for fiestas, family celebrations like parties and marriages, and also a favorite dish during Christmas. Next is Philippine national costume for men, which is the barong Tagalog, is an antak or loose shirt of delicate fabric showing Chinese, a eerie tropical appearance, Indo-Malayan, and elongated effect of Hindu influences, and the decorative captivity of European men's clothing. The barong appears to have preserved its fundamental look since it was first worn. Next is Philippine national costume for women. Barot saya is a colorless blouse and skirt, which means baro at saya. From the original half-naked style, the bare upper torso was lowly covered with a short-sleeved, colorless blouse called baro. Next is national footwear, which is the bakya. The footwear is made from local light wood like santol and laniti. It is cut to the desired foot size before being shaven until smooth. The side of the bakya is thick enough to be carved with floral, geometric, or landscape designs. Afterwards, the bakya could then be painted or varnished. Uppers of plastic or rubber will then be fixed firmly using clavitos or tiny nails, and the bakya is now ready to wear. The word bakya may also be used in the Philippines to indicate something that is of low class and unsophisticated or cheap. Lastly is the national vehicle, which is kalesa. Philippine kalesa is a horse-driven carriage that looks like an inclined cart. Was introduced during the 18th century. The kalesa has two round wheels on each side and two rows of seats that can accommodate four persons. The driver sits on the block of the wood located at the front of the cart near the horse. This was one of the methods of transportation introduced in the Philippines in the 18th century by the Spaniards that only nobles and high-ranked Spanish officials could afford. And that's all. Thank you.
And now we're done. Thank you for listening to our report. Hope you learned something. Hope you got something. Hope you will bring this lesson and you will share it to your friends and your family, that we should be proud to be a Filipino. And we Filipino must be proud of ourselves as well. So, without further ado, thank you and goodbye everyone. See you for our next video and hope you have got something. Bye! Happy Independence Day, Philippines!